What's up, guys? So you want to play professional basketball? Well, take it from someone who's done it. There's a lot of things that you can waste your time on. So give me the next 10 minutes and I will show you exactly a 5-step plan of how to play professional basketball today in 2020. Step number 1, what you need is a passport, not a jump shot. Now, if there is anything besides skill level and doubt that kills more overseas professional dreams, it is this. Players just don't understand the requirements and the restrictions that teams operate under in overseas basketball. So let me give you a clear-cut example. If you're a player right now and you're in the States or in Canada or wherever you are, in Europe, Africa, wherever, and you just think you're going to go to another country and you're a better player than the majority of the players that are playing professionally in that league, that's not exactly how it works. You see, every team in FIBA, or every FIBA sanctioned team, I should say, operates under strict regulations in which they are only allowed a certain number of national players and a certain level of import players. A national player, as you can expect, is just someone who lives within that country in which the league is operating in. An import player then is someone who doesn't have the passport or who doesn't live within the country in which the league is operating in. So for instance, if we go to Belize and I want to play in Belize as a professional basketball player, I must play as an import because I don't have a Belizean citizenship. I don't have Belizean passport. So that makes me an import. Now, in these leagues, there's a restriction on import players. Some leagues are allowed 2, some leagues are allowed 1, some leagues are allowed 3, some leagues are allowed 5. The point is that there's always going to be restrictions and there's always going to be regulations on how many import players you can have on the court. So that means for a lot of players, your options are just going to be limited just based on your passport, just based on your availability. Now, if you can get a second passport, whether that be through your parents, your grandparents, maybe someone else in your family line, maybe through marriage, however it is, this will greatly increase your opportunities in overseas basketball because now you're considered as a national and you're even in a higher commodity when these teams are looking for players. Not only that, but some of these passports have really special benefits that they can give you. For instance, in a lot of European Union countries, they're known as a Bosman A passport. So they can actually play as a national within all of Europe. An Italian can play in Spain as a national. An Italian can play in Bulgaria as a national because they have mobility as a national player. They're not counted as an import, even though they're from another country. Now, as you can guess, an import, a strict import, that is going to be so competitive because now you're going up against high level, high major Division 1 guys, mid-major Division 1 guys, maybe D2 players of the year, all types of people who have resumes in schools and accolades that may be bigger than yours. And it doesn't matter whether you're better than them or not. It's just going to matter. A lot of these teams are just going to look at the resume and say, okay, they went D1, they meet the criteria. You didn't go D1, so you don't meet the criteria. And it's just as simple as that. So if you can get a passport, look into it. Number 2, now that we've looked into our passport, maybe we got it, maybe we didn't. But next, either way, what we're going to need is film. And we're going to need highlights, full game film, and snippets in that order of importance. Now, when you think of highlights, this is basically the introduction to you as a player, how you move, how athletic you are, the league that you're playing in, the level of competition that you're against. This is a collection of your best plays, your best skills, everything that you can do as a player. So when you make this highlight, make sure that you have your best plays at the start because these coaches and these teams are getting so many highlight films that they can't wait for halfway through the highlight film for you to build it up and then you show your best plays when you dunked over 3 guys. No, you're going to need that right at the start to grab their attention. Otherwise, they may not even get through the first minute of it. So you're going to have to prioritize your best plays at the start of it. For God's sakes, don't put any swearing on the highlight film. Don't make the music drown out the rest of the film. Just have a simple beat going on in the background. Don't overcomplicate it too much, okay? They're looking for it for your basketball skills. You're not trying to make a Hooptown mixtape, okay? This is actually a real application that you can do for you as a player. Now next, if they like your highlight film, they're almost certainly going to ask for a full game. Do you have a full game? So for that, basically all you're going to have to do is just get the full game from start to finish and make it as easy for them as possible, okay? Maybe cut out the introductions, just get straight to the game, cut out the pregame, cut out the halftime, Maybe in your description, say what number you are. At the start of the game, maybe you can put a circle around you, pause it for a second, and then they'll know, okay, this is the guy who I'm supposed to be following. Now, the third type of highlight film that you're going to want is snippets. Now, let's say that you didn't get any responses on your highlight film. You weren't able to give your full game film. Well, what you can still do is you still network with these teams, you still network with these people. You have them on social media, and whenever you have a nice play, you post this on social media. Just a small snippet, maybe 20 seconds, a nice crossover into a three, a nice dunk on someone you did in a pro-am or something like that. This just reminds teams that, hey, I'm still here, I'm still working, and I'm still improving, and I'm still putting in the work. Otherwise, these guys get so many highlight films, they get so many messages that they'll just forget about you if you just give them one highlight film and then boom, that's it. You don't message them again. Instead, you have to constantly be reminding people, hey, I'm still out here, I'm still putting in work. And at least that's going to plant that seed in the back of their head that maybe when it's time to get a player, just maybe they'll think of you a little more. Number 3. Now we've gotten our passport in order. Maybe we got it, maybe we didn't. We got our highlight film no matter what. Number 3 right now is the contacts. We got to know who to reach out to. And the key to this is it's got to be relevant. It's got to be relevant to the coach. It's got to be relevant to the country. And it's got to be relevant to you. So there's basically 3 people who I would search out right now: agents, coaches, and players. Players who are actively playing. And you have to, again, tailor your search to people who are relevant to you. So, for instance, this is why the passport's so important. So if I'm Brazilian, the first thing I would do is I would contact every team in Brazil and I would search out those teams there, because then I can play as a national there. I'm a greater commodity, as I explained earlier. If I don't have some sort of passport or citizenship to some country, what I would do then is I would try to look to some sort of commonality or connection that I can build with a coach or an agent. For instance, maybe you have a teammate who went on to play professionally and you played with him and you did well just like him at the collegiate level, at the same level. So then you can contact the agent and you can use your teammate then as a reference. Or another thing you can do is maybe if you have some sort of ties to a hometown team. For instance, when I was playing in Canada, I had ties to a team in British Columbia where I played university basketball. So the first thing I did is I didn't contact any other team, but I went directly to that team. I messaged them, I tailored my email to them, and I said, hey, I played at Quest University here. I did this. I know this guy, he can act as a reference. And this coach who is supposed to be involved in the community, he could just easily reach out to these teams. And sure enough, what happened? Eventually, they gave me a contract offer later in the year. So when you search out these contacts, these coaches, these players, these teams, the key is relevance. I see too many people all the time just shotgunning it to all throughout the world, Italy, France, Nigeria, and it doesn't matter. Well, they don't know who you are. And like, as I mentioned, they get so many emails, so many messages every day. It's just probably going into the delete box. So you've got to tailor your message to the player, to the team, to the country, and find a connection when you are doing this. Number 4, now the best case scenario is obviously that we don't have to spend any money. We don't have to invest anything into getting our professional basketball career started. But that simply isn't the case for a lot of people. So if we have to, then we have to look at combines now as our 4th step. Now, when you think of combines, again, it is all about relevance. What teams are going to be in the combines? Where is the combine located? What's the track history of it? And how is it relevant to your situation? So if I am going to try and play in Latin America and Central America, I'm obviously going to try and get a combine in Central America so that I can be directly in front of these players and these coaches. But as well, the important thing is the timing of the combine. Now, if you go to a combine and you know it's just before the season, that is just perfect, because a lot of teams don't want to pay for your flight. You're going to pay for your flight down there, obviously, to go to the combine, but they may just pay for your return flight in return. So that would be a key factor as well, is the timing of these combines. And as well, you have to do your homework about these combines. You can't just blindly head into them. I actually did this in China one time, and it was just a complete waste of money. I just spent $1,600 for nothing. What you have to do is you have to go to the organizer and you have to say, hey, connect me with other players that have been to this combine. I want to know directly what they think. how they thought of it. How many players have got contract offers? How many actually signed? What's the percentage of people who signed? What schools did they go to? Were they all coming from high Division 1 majors? Maybe that's not going to be as applicable to you if you come from an NAI and you're going up against Division 1 guys, because they'll probably take the Division 1 guy over you. These are all questions that you have to ask when you're doing a combine. Now, for North America, what I would do is, honestly, I would look at springboard leagues, springboard combines. For Americans and Canadians, what I would do is I would look at the TBL, the basketball league, as well as the NBLC. These are two great springboard leagues that always are holding combines and tryouts throughout North America. And as well, in the NBLC in Canada, they actually have an allowance for imports at 6 imports. So there's a great opportunity for Americans there. As well as the TBL, it's basically all Americans. There's a few Canadians playing there, but this is a great opportunity. These leagues are growing in terms of their overall global impact and their overall global relevance. There's a lot of players who go there to Argentina, other places in Latin America, Europe. So these are great options. Now, if I was in Europe, what I would do is I would go to Euro Pro Basket. This is the premier placement program I've seen in Europe. There's a lot of players who've gone on here to start their careers in Europe as well. If you are American or Canadian and you want to play in Europe, this would obviously be a great option because of the location, as I mentioned earlier. And finally, the last step is you have to be persistent. You can't just expect this all to fall into place within a couple of months. There are players who've been trying to get overseas, I've seen, for years without luck, and eventually they finally break through, because if you're persistent enough, it will happen for you. So just continuously collect film, keep on networking, growing your social media, growing the people who can actually make an impact on your life. And if you can't get anything out of this, keep with the snippets, and eventually you might have to bite the bullet and actually attend a combine. If you do these 5 steps, I guarantee you, you will be in better position than 90% of basketball players who are just blindlessly shotgunning their resumes to coaches, players, teams all throughout the world, and they have no idea who they are, and they're not presenting it in a way that can really get them anywhere. Now, I'm going to come up with a few more videos about how to actually make a basketball resume. I've helped hundreds of players get overseas by helping them with their basketball resume, their basketball highlight films, and all types of stuff to help their presentability to teams. So if you want to follow along for that, go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel. I would love to help as many people as I can. This is something that just didn't existed when I was younger coming up. So I want to help as many people as I can. And hopefully we can get a discussion going if you guys want to chime in the comments below. Thanks so much, guys. Take care and God bless. Peace.